This is the biggest scandal to hit Washington since Watergate. And here's what you need to know and what Romney should hammer tonight. When it comes to Libya, 1, U.S. officials in Libya were begging for added security. Not only were they denied, all of the U.S. military personnel were pulled out of Benghazi and replaced with $4 an hour local workers. New documents released show Ambassador Chris Stevens was practically begging for help 1 month before the attacks. Let me give you some of the quotes. Quote, "The individual incidents have been organized. What we have seen are not random crimes of opportunity, rather targeted and discriminate acts. Attackers are likely to be deterred until authorities are at least capable." Well, it's gonna be hard with a $4 Libyan. On the day of his death, Stevens cabled and cited growing problems with security in Benghazi, expressing growing frustration with Libyan police and security forces, and described them as, quote, too weak to keep the country secure. The second thing you need to remember tonight, the administration watched the attack happen in real time. They had cameras at the consulate or the safe house, but they also had a drone overhead. They watched it happen and did nothing. Why? 3, the administration lied about the cause of the attack in order to soften the political damage of America incurring a terrorist attack on the anniversary of 9/11. They flipped their story when they got caught, and now David Axelrod, with the help of the press, is changing history, claiming that there was no inconsistency on the administration's storyline. That is the softball of softballs for Romney tonight. Can he hit the ball? And the fourth thing to remember is, despite claiming he will bring the killers to justice, Obama has done little to solve the case. In fact, he took 2 weeks to send anyone and allow them to step foot on the crime scene. And the New York Times has just interviewed one of the suspects in the attacks. He wasn't real hard to find. The Times interviewed him while he was, quote, sitting on a crowded hotel patio and sipping mango juice. Our authorities have yet to talk to him. America was warned. The president and his administration watched. They did nothing. They lied, and they aren't bothering to do much more to investigate thoroughly. That is where Romney needs to go tonight. But there is more to this story, and it's not much different than the Iran-Contra scandal, where we gave arms to Iran in exchange for the release of hostages, and then they shipped our arms to the Contras. The problem was back then that nobody liked is we were doing business with terrorists. Except now it's much, much worse, because we're doing business with terrorists again. We are arming Al-Qaeda and like affiliates. We did it in Libya, and now we're doing it in Syria. But for as awful as the Iran-Contra scandal was, and it was, at least we got hostages returned. This president is doing this for no apparent reason. I have been asking one question since this happened on September 11th. What was the ambassador doing in Benghazi? The worst possible place for him to be. We finally have the answer next.